Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video, and welcome to another video in our European series, and welcome to the very anticipated Kia EV6. That's right, we're going to be running this car through all of our testing, doing charging testing, range testing, and so much more. But of course we have to start with our first drive. So join us now for the first drive of the Kia EV6. This is the all-wheel drive GT line, about 77 kilowatt hour battery pack. I'm pretty excited. This is the Kia EV6. It is the new highly anticipated electric, fully from the ground up, built on the eGMP platform. This is an exciting platform that we'll see multiple vehicles tested off of, such as Hyundai Ioniq and others. We are trying to actually get with a Hyundai Ioniq soon, so stay tuned for this video. Maybe in a couple weeks is the plan. This is a pre-production prototype, so you'll see some things in this car that aren't exactly final production, and that's okay. We get super early access to this. This is a really interesting car. 800 volt battery pack system. This one, again, dual motor, about 320 horsepower. The EV6 will be coming to the US and it'll cost a base price of around $45,000, but I believe the first edition is going to be priced in the mid $50,000 range, again, all before incentives. So overall, there's a little bit of a front trunk, a massive rear trunk, plenty of room inside. Let me take you on a very quick tour of the car, and then we're going to get it out on the road and drive it for the very first time. Opening the trunk of the EV6 right here. Power, of course. There is this little bit of a cargo cover, but wow, is that a pretty big trunk, and the seats do fold flat. Under here, of course, this one has the upgraded sound system, the Meridian system, and you can see there's a subwoofer under here. However, if you don't choose the upgraded sound system, this would all be underfloor storage. And again, you have to remember that not all of the grading on the plastics like this here, this is not all final production. This car, again, is a pre-production car. It has almost 10,000 kilometers on it. The back of it, though, especially in black, this is a good looking car. In photos, I haven't been so enthused with the EV6, and I've been pretty vocal with this, but actually spending time with it, looking at these nice little small details, I'm really starting to dig it. This is the hidden charge port, which is so cool. So type 2 up top, 11 kilowatt AC, 240 kilowatt DC here on the bottom. Let's see, this is the little thing we pull, boom. So just your CCS plug. Of course, stay tuned. We'll be doing a 0 to 100% charging test. This is your battery level. It's at 94% right now. You push this button, boom, charging flap closes. How about that? So cool. Let's take a look into the back seats here. You can see the door handles have presented, sort of. There we go. Again, not final production, I guess. It's hard to know what will make it and what won't, but everything here design-wise should make it. This one does not have a sunroof. It has this really nice sort of cloth Alcantara-ish seat, but then mixed with leather here in the center. So this looks pretty nice for sure. Overall, the interior is a really cool looking interior. I'm not digging the steering wheel design, but look at those pedals, look at the dashboard, look at the shifter. Everything here is looking pretty nice. There's even USB-C ports in the seat themselves. With all this noise around here, what do you say we get inside, take it for a drive? Today's video is brought to you by EV Wash. You can see here I'm using the waterless wash solution on the hood of my electric smart car, cleaning it up. Very cool. More cool than what's inside of this bottle is actually the way that you can refill it. Once you run out of your solution inside the bottle, come back here. This is a sustainable washing company, again, branded EV Wash. You take your biodegradable refill pouch that you purchase on their website, fill back up your bottle. It's a lot less expensive and better for the environment than just buying new bottles every time you run out. EV Wash, the link is in the description. Use the code OUTOFSPEC30 for 30% off your full EV Wash kit order. Support the companies that support us for making these videos possible. You join me in the EV6 now as we're about to head for a quick drive across town. It says it's a 7-kilometer stretch, but given the traffic, that'll probably take some time. So let's go through some drive modes first. So there's Eco, Normal, and Sport. In Eco mode, the car's rear-wheel drive only. It physically disconnects the front motor with a clutch, Kia says. That's pretty interesting. The only other car that I can think that does that is the Taycan, that disconnects the rear motor with the clutch pack. Because they're permanent magnet motors, you can't actually shut them off, so it's more efficient to just disconnect them. Normal mode will actually mix between rear-wheel drive and blend in the front wheels, so it's a rear bias system. And then sport mode will obviously have both motors engaged. They're the same motors, but the rear motor has a little bit more power, so maybe we can slide it around. I don't know, we'll see. We want to be gentle with this pre-production car. Of course, when we're back in the US, we'll get to spend more time with it. Whole bunch of different menus here, but it's very similar to Kia's in the past. So I think what I'll do is put it on the navigation menu. We'll shift it into drive with this nice little shifter in the center. I have my air-conditioned seat really working. I think Kia has the best air-conditioned seats in the business. And we're going for a drive. This is so nice. Finally, being able to drive the EV6. How exciting. This is a car that you guys have requested heavily on this channel. Every video I post, when are you testing Ioniq 5 or EV6? And guess what? Today is the day. And I have to say, first impressions are styling is so nice in person. I've now seen two of them. I've seen this sort of matte silver color that's available in series production, and I've seen this black color as well. Really think this car looks good in black. A clean black, like this thing looks hot, really does. Totally into it. The steering wheel's a little odd. It's got this giant center thing here, but this is common for Kias. I would say that's not so great. The infotainment is all pretty much out of existing Kias. And, you know, so quite a bit of difference here, but let's see if we can squeeze down this way, if this guy will move. I don't know if he will. This is so weird driving here. Why isn't this guy moving? Come on, there we go. Thank you very much. Wow, big heads-up display in this thing with the speed limit, with my speed, the driver assistance, and then the turn. It's a little blurry, is it? Maybe I just need to get used to it, but it's really bright and really quite large. That's awesome. First thing we have to do, of course, is let's put it into sport mode. So there we are in sport, and we'll give it the beans. Whoa, that was a lot more than I was expecting. Wow, that's pretty awesome. So the thing to remember is this is the GT line, not the GT. So this is the normal everyday sort of grand tour family, you know, haul the kids around type thing. But they will eventually have a GT, which if we go by anything Kia's done with GTs in the past, we know they're pretty serious. And so that's going to be exciting for sure. I've put it back into normal mode and we're just cruising along. With the turn signal on, I can see the cameras out the side mirrors, which is really nice. So I have a really good idea as to what's going on the side of the car. A lot of Hyundai Kia products do this. A lot of things I'll mention are across the brand, but I'll just talk specifically about this one if that's okay with you guys. Yeah, so there's different paddle shifters. So level 0, if I pull all the way to the right, coasting. That's level 1 on regen, so it's definitely slowing down a little bit more, I will say. And there's level 2. Oh, I need to turn left here. Augmented reality heads-up display. Put the arrows up and they got closer as I got closer. That's pretty amazing. Wow, just a seriously cool package. Then I went all the way to iPedal. So it goes level 1, 2, 3, and then iPedal on. So iPedal is one pedal driving. Yes, it pulled us all the way to the stop, and there's no creep mode with iPedal. This is how I would probably drive the vehicle. Let's test the calibration again. So accelerating, iPedal, lifting off, big regen. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, iPedal's the jam. You go iPedal and we are good. I don't know if iPedal is predictive slowing down based off of the distance to the car in front. We'll have to test this, but at least on my initial impression, it came all the way to a stop and it seems to be holding the car. Very nice. This car has big range. Do we know the EPA range for this car? 77.4 kilowatt hour battery pack. That's almost fully usable capacity. They say that's not the installed and it's not the net. It's kind of in the middle, which is a little bit odd. But they said you can pretty much get all of that out of the battery pack. So we'll just go with 77 kilowatt hour battery pack, usable capacity. Oh, and it sounds like we can't go down this road. Wow, what a disaster getting around this city is sometimes, I swear. I guess we can go down this road. Pretty crazy. I have to say the car's quiet. I don't hear anything out on the roads. Yeah, no noise, no construction noise. This is nice. There might be some slight suspension differences between the US market car and the car I'm driving here in Europe, so we'll have to see. But overall, there's also auto hold is on. Yeah, but with iPedal, I don't know if you need auto hold. Anyway, let me get a little bit more accustomed to this thing. I gotta say, impressions are quality, drivetrain calibration, and overall fit, finish, and feel, even for a pre-production vehicle, is really, 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 really good. Really good. And great acceleration. Like, what are you even gonna do with the GT? I guess shred it around. While we're kind of sitting in a little bit of traffic and light speed, I figured I'd run some numbers through with you. And before we actually do that, I also want to talk about the Ioniq 5, because of course this car and that car are sister cars, which means they share the same eGMP platform. But the wheelbase is different. This is 10 millimeters shorter. Is that true? Yeah, 10 or 100 millimeters. It's a little bit shorter wheelbase here. And also this car has totally different suspension calibration, tuning, and overall feel while driving. So Kia said, look, we were given the chassis, Hyundai was given the chassis, and then their engineers adapted the cars to fit the character of the vehicle better. And so while I haven't driven Ioniq 5 yet, I'm driving down the middle of the road. I am looking forward to feeling this difference. But here's some numbers for you. The front motor makes 74 kilowatts. The rear motor makes 165 kilowatts. Total power output's 239 kilowatts, which is pretty good, I have to say. And overall, it's pretty nice. They say the battery pack voltage is 697. When we plug it into a DC fast charger, we'll see if that's dead, middle, or full. Obviously, with the state of charge, pack voltage will change, so that's never just a constant. And so we'll have to take a look at that. Overall, they say it's 5.2 seconds 0 to 100, so about 5 seconds 0 to 60. And does it leap? And the motors sound really good and well tuned as well. You can hear when there's not a lot of inverter whine or inefficiencies in the drivetrain. And I have to say, this feels so well calibrated. The regen is so good. I also want to make another point. When the front motor is in disconnecting stage, I believe in normal mode and maybe in eco mode as well, we'll have to test. There's a little gauge here. It will reconnect the front motor to do more regen. So this is something we will definitely test out for sure. And you can see it's telling me to not make a lane change here, but I'm going to anyway. Man, what a cool car. What a cool car. It's so exciting. We are able to test one so early. I mean, American journalists won't have access to this car, I think, for some time. So our videos are going to be uploaded a little bit out of order, of course. I want to get this vehicle up, all of the testing we do here pretty soon, and then some of the stuff we've already shot will come after. So it's going to be a little bit awkward for the viewers who are following every video, but overall, it doesn't really matter. This is the EV6 and it's worth it. This is cool. Really cool. It's got all the good tech inside, sounds of nature, all the good infotainment stuff. Let's get it on maybe a little bit higher speed road if we can, see how it feels at speed, test some of the driver assistance. Then we'll call it a little quick first taste of the EV6. We are now up to speed on the highway, and the most impressive thing is really the ride quality and the noise. It feels refined. Let's see, I'm gonna bump it into sport mode for this corner. Whoa, instant throttle pedal change. This thing is gripping pretty well. Instantly, the throttle is way more sensitive. Really nice cornering ability here. Hard power. This thing boogies pretty good. And before we get a speeding ticket, we'll slow down a little bit here. Back into normal mode. Wow. So there's definitely some dynamic capability here. This is not just like a really soft and squishy EV. I recently tested EQA. That video will come out after this one, of course. And this car was good, but this is way more performance oriented. Here we have no speed limit, so let's actually go back into sport mode, shall we? Move over to the left and full throttle. See how this thing does. There's 100 miles an hour. Wow, it's quick, and it pulls even up top. Again, we're at high state of charge, 89% right now, but this thing gets it when you get on the throttle. I mean, it's not Taycan turbo fast, but it's pretty freaking fast. I'm so impressed here. And this isn't even the fast one. This is a Grand Tourer. So with this charging curve at 240 kilowatts, they claim pretty deep into the pack with this level of acceleration and comfort at high speed, paired with, I imagine, really good efficiency. We'll find out, of course. This thing must be a cruiser. Let's just get it up to top speed here really quick. There's 170 kilometers, 180, 185, 190, 2 kilometers per hour. Just before we get into a speed restricted zone, we'll try out the brakes here in a second. So 192 coming into a 120, hard on the brakes, brakes straight and pretty strong too. High speed braking, gotta love it. Pretty awesome, but this is where you feel that it's not the real performance oriented one. The car kind of dived forward a little bit, to be expected for a comfortable Grand Tourer. Back in a normal mode here really quick, let's just put on driver assistance. So because we're on the highway, we actually get HDA, which is Highway Driving Assistant by Hyundai, or by Kia. We're not in a Hyundai. I think it's the same system though. And then I can click this little steering wheel. So now we're just cruising along here at 125 kilometers per hour. I see all the cars on the screen going by. It's very much like autopilot, if you will. It seems like it's got the same blobs as cars. If I put my left turn signal on, the car will keep hands on steering wheel. I have it. Will it make a lane change? I don't know. Let's see. It doesn't seem to. Yeah, it does. Look at this. You just have to, so what I did was I clicked it all the way on, but if you go just to like where normally you hit the triple blink before the point of resistance, this is when it will then make the lane change for you. So here again, going back to the right, making lane changes all by itself. Super smooth lane changes. Wow, really good. That lane change automatically paired with the camera view on either side is a really nice feature. You know, in order to get this on like a Model Y or a Model 3, you have to spend $10,000 for full self-driving. And not to knock the system, I use autopilot all the time, it's fine. But it's just like, that's so expensive for the one feature I really feel like I want in a base Tesla. I don't want any of the other stuff, just lane changes. This does it, and it's great, and it's really, really good. And the technology here in the infotainment, which again I'll show you in a little bit, is so cool. It tells us the exact percentage of power coming from each unit. It says the exact amount of power coming from each. So right now we're using 19 kilowatts to move the car, 0.3 kilowatts to cool the car's interior, and 0.39 kilowatts to power the electronics in the car. I assume that's the driver assistance and everything like this. So really great data, really comfortable on the highway, a very good top speed as well. A lot of EVs top out at 150, 160. This is north of 190, which is awesome. Really like that. And I'm just so pleased with this vehicle. We're heading to a spot to actually perform all of our standardized testing. So stay tuned over the next few days for this vehicle. We'll have plenty of coverage coming on the EV6.